Welcome back to Foreign Friday. After a few weeks on the sidelines, pulling up a little lame, Thomas and I come back. Some Lasix, some bandages on the front legs, maybe one of those nose bands that they get, Thomas, ready to get back to racing.
Well, we don't want tongue ties, though.
No, well, sometimes we and those watching might be better off if we had some. That's sometimes
probably be helpful.
Yeah, at times for sure. We're going to go off to York Racing. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in our selections or the races that we've focused on this week.
Well, let's start with first. This is the Ebor Festival. And we are now, this will be the final day of the meet. And we've seen City of Troy win, with setting a new track record. In the Nunthorpe, Bredsel was impressive and earns himself a ticket to the Breeders' Cup if they so choose. So it's been a week of few closers. Saw only one today win, and that's been about it. Most of them, it's coming from, they're getting in they're not winning. They're getting in place spots, but not. There's very few are winning.
For the closest, so Speed's doing a little better.
Speed's, well, not 100%. Post position though has been a factor, especially in the sprints. We only had one that went against that. One race went against that. The rest of them, the inside posts are winning.
Dominating.
Yeah, they seem to. And we've had a few outside hit the board, but not winning. And we did get one winner out of it, and that was on Thursday.
Well, hopefully we get a bunch of winners tomorrow at Saratoga. Big day of racing, the $1.25 million Travers Stakes. Of course, we over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet put together a wagering guide. You can get that. There is a link in the description below. Of course, every single day there are some free picks tonight. You can get some free picks at Penn National if you are so inclined. Kindly use the link down there. Make sure you're ready and prepared to go tackle that pretty aggressive, nice card tomorrow at Saratoga. I'm looking forward to that. But before we do that, Thomas, you and I are going to take our talents to York. Starting off in race number 1, it is the Strensall Stakes. It's a Group 3. This one is going to go 1 mile and 1 furlong. So 1 mile and a 16th, according to the way we do math around here. At 1 mile and a furlong, if we take a look at the track at York, let's see if we can find the mile. I don't know. It looks like
go up on the top of the page.
So right about here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to go which way? This way, I would guess, huh? Boom and down.
They're going to go the normal way you like to race.
So they're going to go this way.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll go counterclockwise.
They're going to start here, and then they're going to make their way down. And it says level throughout. So unlike a lot of those tracks, this one is pretty flat.
Yeah, does not have the undulations or anything of those sorts. This track would play like some of the tracks in this country do. The difference, of course, is that we don't have a straight 6 furlong race.
And you mentioned that so far the horses on the inside here have been doing a little bit better. Is that correct?
In the distance races, it's been a little more mixed. The sprints have been pretty much dominated by the inside. So 7, 6, 5 furlong races.
Perfect. Well, the first one is 1 mile and a 16th, so we don't have any of that. But what we're going to get back to for the first time in a couple of weeks is some of Tom's insights. Hopefully he starts off with a bomb so we can go right back to where we were before. But who's your top choice in the first race in a couple of weeks?
I'm going to take number. The thing is in my way. Hold on. I got to get a little cursor out of the way here. We're going to do See the Fire. It's going to be my top choice. She's definitely class of the field. She's the only filly in this race. And she's a 3-year-old. But she's had some successes but not winning ones. She's only a maiden winner, but she's faced the likes of Opera Singer and City of Troy, and she missed by a neck to Opera Singer last time out. So, and that's a Group 1 and beyond type horse. Aiden O'Brien, he has a few of them. And I hesitate a little to play her because she's a maiden as my top choice, but maiden winner only. But she's faced some good company, and there's not a lot in here that has faced this kind of company, at least at that level. We'll see how she does. 3, Flight Plan will be next choice, draw 1. He's raced 4 times this season. He's looked better in each race. He lost by 4. He was 4th last time by 7 lengths, but then he's behind Charlton, who just won at Deauville, and top miler. He's run good races. Group 3, he's run at Haydock and at 7 furlongs. I think you're gonna get good, decent odds, and I think he's got a good, nice chance here. And finally, we're going to take number 2, and it's FJR.
Well, this is a PG show. Come on.
Draw 7. He's definitely the horse that's in form. He's got 2 wins and a second. That was in his last start. He's moving up a little bit from class. He's had reasonable efforts on really in all his races. I mean, including on the all weather. So if you want a horse that's definitely in form, and looks like he's on the move upwards, this one could be the one to play.
It's the one that fits that sign of life. I'm going to go with the 8 horse for me. 7-1. Started at 7-1, still 7-1. All right, so the bettors aren't running away from me. I like this horse because it's what I consider a finely healthy horse. Maybe, question mark. 2 starts in a row for the first time in its very short career. I've noticed a lot of horses that perhaps have talent and they go out, they ding themselves up a little bit. The first time they can make that second or third start in a row, you usually see what the trainers and the connections had hoped for. Number 9, See the Fire. That's that top pick Tom talked about right there. Last time out, this horse ran in a Group 1, so stepping down a little bit to a Group 3. So should be a little bit lighter company today than the miss in the last start. And quite frankly, probably the favorite. And if it repeats that last race, probably your winner.
Yeah, but keep in mind she was also running against her own filly. She was running against fillies, 3-year-old fillies. So
facing up the boys today.
This is a little different type of race. Like
Torpedo Anna tomorrow. So can she do something that hasn't been done since 1903? Tom, did you? Way back. You know that
a few years ago. Yeah. And I definitely was not around then.
I think Terry was though.
Oh, maybe.
Yes, indeed. So, Enf Yar. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to stay away from the 4-letter words. This one's just a little bit away from winning 3 races in a row, and I think the fact that this one is continuously backed by punters lets you know that they feel this is a quality horse, probably a good shot to finish in the money, and at his best, the top prize. And I'm going to go with a long shot, Royal Dubai, 16-1. Actually got a tip on that, so some other smart handicapper out there. This one has upped its speed figure 3 consecutive races in a row, and I know that in the U.S., according to Barry Meadows, 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row equates to a handicapping angle that wins at least 15%, or an alpha angle, as I call them. Let's take a look at the predictor. Been off for 2 weeks, but I haven't forgotten about the predictor, Tom. At least not yet. Somewhere along the line, I'm sure I'll forget about the predictor. But let's see what the predictor has to say about that. Ooh, they're going to run fast in that race. And a horse that neither of us mentioned, I don't believe, Haunted Dream, is going to haunt our picks, Tom, at the end of the day. What were your thoughts about that one? Did you have any?
I didn't see the form in that one.
Well, apparently the algorithm does. Although on the picture, it sure looks like the 4-letter word there got the nose to me. I would give the Enfhar the photo finish on that one. Off to the second race we'll go, and hopefully a little bit clearer picture at the end, according to the predictor for you and I. 1 mile and 6 furlongs, so 1 mile and 3/4. A little bit of a longer race. We don't see too many of those in the U.S. that distance. So 1 mile and 3/4 are going to start back here. Going to run and then make a little bit of a slight turn and then a more rounded turn, and they're going to come all the way back down here. That sure looks like a long race to me, Tom. You think they jog out of the
definitely
gates?
A long race.
Yeah. Where do they turn the jets on usually? Coming out of that turn?
Out of that turn with the 3 furlongs left to go to the finish.
So how important is position for the mile and the 6? Where do you want to establish position by?
I've seen today they came from the inside primarily in the middle of the track, and that's been the trend most of the week. They haven't seen too many traveling up the rail to get in, so I think the better part of the track seems to be the middle.
So a horse that can get to the middle, get with good position, not run crazy fractions, best chance to get to the winner's enclosure. At least that's what they call it on that side of the Atlantic. Tom, who do you call the winner?
Yeah, I'm going to take number 7, Reaching High, with draw 16. The winner last time out at 14 furlongs on the all-weather, but has shown a fondness for the turf with a second and a third in the recent races. Obviously, this is going to be a longer test for him, but he won by 7 lengths in that last race, and that's impressive.
It's a good number.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to add some distance. I don't think that's a problem. It's just a matter of getting position because he's got an outside draw. So he will need some smart handling to be able to get the job done. I'm going to go with 4. Table Talk is my next choice with draw 14. He's run well in all 3 or 4 races. Handicap, novice, maiden. The only race he didn't run well was a Group 1 against City of Troy. Well, a lot of horses have not run well against City of Troy. Finished 10th in that one. I think this is a horse that wants more distance, and this is certainly up that alley, and I think he'll get some decent odds. Finally, I'm going to take the Equator with number 1. Draw 12 is my final choice. Had reasonable efforts. He's got a win on the heavy going at Leopardstown, a second in Narvin last time out. That was a Group 2 race. He was favored last time, got beat, but he ships over here for a reason. It's a nice 3-year-old heritage handicap race. They must think they've got a chance, and that's why I'm going to put him in my numbers.
My numbers include in the second race, Going Remote. How about you? 30-1 shot right off, 20-1 shot right off the top there, Tom. And the reason I like Going Remote, it seems like the longer Going Remote goes, the better it is. And I feel like 1 3/4 miles should fit right where it wants to go. If not, Reaching High, the 7 horse. It's another one I feel like that benefits from getting extra distance and most likely see some improvement today off of its last effort in the second start, following some time off. Number 8, Tactician. Well, I've seen the read 15-2 horses. I'm liking them today. This one is a head away from winning 3 races in a row on a good to firm surface. No doubt that's what it'll see tomorrow, and I think that's its preferred footing, and perhaps 15-2, pretty good odds there. And then I didn't do this on purpose, but it seems to be the trend for me today. For whatever reason, the 6 horse is a long shot in most races, and for whatever reason, it makes it into all of my picks for the most part. Another price horse with a couple of tips from the prognosticators for the York picks tomorrow, but this one's a closer. And if you just kind of look at its form, this one seems to be rounding into peak form. So 3, 7, 8, and 6 for me. What does the predictor have in store? They're not running as fast in this race as they did the last time out. Tom's pick, the Equator, and then a Tactician right in there. And then after that, well, Reaching High is in there too. So we have a couple of horses that make an appearance in this one, Tom. At least you picked the winner. It's too bad we can't just run the Equator and go ahead and just cash the ticket.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work that way.
That would be nice. But, I told my son that in 100 years from now, maybe even less than 100 years from now, I don't think there'll be a such thing as human or animal sports. Virtual reality will look so real that there won't be a need for it. You won't have whining athletes that need $1 billion, and no one will be able to complain that a virtual horse twisted an ankle. Third race is next up for us, Tom. What are we going to look at here?
This is the feature of the day, except for the Ebor one, in terms of the group races. The City of York Stakes, and this is a 7 furlong race, and there's some pretty darn good horses in here, and we are going to head back into that little chute that's off of there, and they're going to make a slight turn and then head home.
That looks like a pretty aggressive turn to me. I would suspect, just looking at this chart, and maybe I'm wrong, but you'll let me know if so. But it seems to me just the way this, and of course the image may not line up exactly with the track, but it sure looks to me like if you're riding along here, you got to make your way on an angle down like this to get that turn. Otherwise, you're going to run into the fence down here. So I would suspect that the horses that are down in here would have a little bit of edge, because if they can beat everybody to that turn, they can essentially cut them off. Is that how it actually plays out on the track?
Not really. It's a pretty wide turn, because you've got the merging of the backstretch runs with the horses, the 5 and 6 furlong races, and that's pretty wide in their area. So it's just a matter of I think the draw is very important here. And I've generally taken the inside draws, even though it's not a huge field, which is good for us, I guess. But
yeah. And well, additionally, they're going to run 2 7 furlong races in a row. So I'd pay attention to this one to get a clue what'll happen in the next one. Just looking at this, I would think this would be a great track for Irad and Paco Lopez, because if indeed cutting horses off at the turn there is a winning strategy, both of them might excel.
They're good at it.
Yes, just kidding, of course, but not really. All right, Tom, who's going to end up in the winner's circle?
I'm going to take 4, Kinross. Draw 4. Last time out, he really didn't have much of a chance. Frankly, he ran well late, but it was too late. Audience won impressively. It was a 7 furlong race. He went off the favorite in that race. He's run 3 times this year. His best effort was on the all-weather, but the last race was okay. I just think he needs to be closer to the pace. I think he was a little too far back to really have any chance. So I think they're going to put him up a little closer and see if he's got that closing kick and get home. I should point out, of course, that he has won this race twice. And maybe he's a horse for course. 5, Should Viv Being Airing. Draw 8. Won very nicely at Deauville last time by neck, and really, was charging. This will be his first try at the distance. They're going to change jockeys, and if he can run like he did last time, I think he's got a nice chance to add a little distance to it. The draw is a little bit of a concern, being an 8. That's not, I don't think, the most favorable, but we'll see. Good enough maybe to hit the board, and that's where I'm playing him. Finally, I'll take the favorite, Audience, as my final choice. He's got draw 5. He started out, he beat Charlton in a mile race, looked really good in that race. Inspiral was in that race and did absolutely nothing. The next race, of course, the tables got turned, and Charon won the next one at Royal Ascot. Then they dropped him to 7 furlongs, and he 4-length winner over Art Power. He looked really good at 7. And Gosdens generally know what they're doing, and I can't leave him off my ticket.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to leave him off the ticket either. I didn't leave him off the ticket, but I didn't put him first. I put the different horse first. This is the high rent district around here, so why not a high rent horse in Lake Forest? In 2024, this horse has had a couple of pretty good second place finishes. I think getting a little bit extra distance today will turn those seconds into firsts. The favorite, Audience, is the favorite, should be the favorite in my opinion, Thomas. And the resume says expect a better race than last time out in the second start after a layoff. I do agree with you. The horse that's won this race, Kinross, does have the talent. It's there. It's proven. I just wonder at this point in its career, just looking at its recent races, if 7 furlongs is a touch too long for this one. Do you think maybe this one's more of a 6 furlonger now, Tom?
Yeah, he's run his best races at 7.
Finally,
overall in his career. So I've got to still think he's got something And as I said in my comments, he was just too far back to have a chance last time. He still, he still got third. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't running. But I still have to. That's why I put him on top. I still think he may be a horse for the course.
And I probably just put him in first place too by degrading him a little bit, saying he can't handle the distance. So
I will find out.
Yes, indeed. He'll provide an answer for us tomorrow at approximately 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then finally, I'm going to go, why not? Stick to the theme. I mentioned the 6-horse makes my final pick in the first 3 races. Again, Va Fortino. If he's going to win, it's going to be at 7 furlongs. So it seems like it's the only distance he wins at, Thomas. So it's today or nothing for Va Fortino with that 2-post at 35-1. No tips, so you can put one on the board now.
Well, he's got the right draw, and that's something to consider.
And he's got, like I said, if you look at it, the only time he wins is at 7 furlongs. Let's see if the predictor has got any brains and puts that horse in the winning. Well, someone's going to win this race big. That's Audience, and then Kinross, and then Lake Forest. Art Power, a name that neither one of us mentioned, threatening in there. Hey, there's my long shot in the picture, Thomas. So maybe it can find its way up into the Omni or something along those lines. A lot of those bettors will be glad to have a high-priced horse in that second or third spot to fatten up your exactas and your trifectas. Race 4, 2 to go for you and me because we're only going to do the first 5 races. I mentioned that maybe I missed the 7 one. Maybe the next one's 7 furlongs. I don't know. I thought there was.
No, the next one's 6.
All right. Well, anyway, this one's 1 mile and 6 furlongs. Maybe I got it confused with the 1 3/4 races. So pay attention to the previous 1 3/4 races. If they make their way around this little bend here, a little bit bigger bend there, as Tom mentioned, horses that have been mid-pack, probably mid-track, that can get themselves in good positioning coming down in here for that kick home. Those are the horses have done and fared the best at the Ebor Festival to this point, Tom. This is the marquee race. So who's going to take home the crown?
I'm going to take number 11, Ziggy, my top choice, number 4, coming out of 4. Before he started racing 5 times, he was off 451 days. That's a long time.
It's a good break.
And then he came back and he's run, and he hasn't been out of the money in any of his races in those 5 races since returning. So obviously something improved. Mm-hmm. And he won last time at York. He had some distance today. He's been forwardly placed. I just think he's in form, and this is the right time and the right race. And that's why I'm going to put him on top. And I took number 18, Chillingham. It's my next choice. It also has the unfortunate draw of 18. He's ran third twice in the last 2 races. They were 12 furlongs. He started the season on the all-weather, and he doesn't like all-weather, so he didn't run well. But he has done better on it in the past. So maybe, he's decided turf he likes better. He's run this distance twice in his career. He ran third in his first try, and he ran second in the second try. I wonder if he's going to continue that trend at this distance. Maybe. Finally, I'm going to take one of the hurdlers that is in this race, and that's number 8, Magical Zoe, with draw 1. He's been very good over the fences, to say the least. But okay on the flats. Obviously, distance is not an issue. He's won at 13 furlongs. He's placed at 16 furlongs. Those are flat races. But obviously, you can go 2 miles plus because generally that's how long going over the fences is.
Plus, they're jumping over fences, so it's really.
He's stepping up a bit in class. There's no question about that because of maiden. But why they put him in here? Looks like he's liking the flats, and I get 10-1. I wouldn't complain.
No, I wouldn't complain either, particularly if he ends up in some way in the winning circle, because that's where I have him in there too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I have him winning. I don't know how that happened, Thomas.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, he's he's maiden. He's not a experienced horse on the flat, but certainly is an experienced horse over the fences.
And he missed in the Group 3 last out, but if you look at the record, he's really close always at the end. So why not? Make it 2 tips. And then with Tom's tip and my tip, it's up to 3. So we tripled that count right there, 10-1. Queenstown, the 2 horse, is my next selection, 8-1. Finally, the horse is doing what they normally do. Rich likes him, and the odds go the other way, but that's fine. This horse has run 6 times. Tom, you know how many bad races he's had?
6.
Bad ones. He's had 6 good ones. And he continues to get better race to race after race. So today could be a career best performance for an Aidan O'Brien horse with James Doyle in the saddle. My mate, Mosey, the 17 horse. That one is 14-1. And that one's getting 2 tips. Wow, people are plagiarizing me right here. I think this one potentially, Tom, could have the most upside in the race, and if you can find some of that form, could hit at a nice price. And then finally, number 12, Fairbanks is my final selection. Just kind of looking and reviewing the work for this horse. It seems like $1 3/4 is the right distance for that one. I should have thrown a 6 in there for good measure. Yashin, I know a guy named Yashin, so maybe put that one in there as well. The predictor may or may not put Yashin in there. We'll find out. It's a pretty wide open race, so it'd be interesting to see what the algorithm says. It says it's going to be a pretty close race with Nakib, Relentless Voyager, Fairbanks getting in there, and my mate Mozzie. But outside of that, not a lot of names that you and I talked about, Tom.
No, but this is one of those races we talk about all the time. Huge field. If you can figure it out, you're going to get paid.
Just needs to be 2-year-olds to make it more challenging making their first starts.
Yeah, you prefer those. So, 26 2-year-olds.
Yes, at Parks. I love it.
None of them have run yet.
As long as I got workouts and some breeding data and so forth, you can at least make a list and have a grading system. But unfortunately, in Europe, they don't really give you that information with the American data that's available. So you might as well just create a random number generator in Excel and print out some numbers. You probably have just as good a chance. You did mention that this next one is 6 furlongs. It is the Sky Bet Constantine Handicap. 6 furlongs early on. You alluded to the fact that they just run straight down the fairway there, Tom.
They do.
And which one is from a running style today, where's the place to be?
Today in the Nunthorpe, Strensall was on the far outside, and they were believing was closing. She finished 3rd, but he got the jump, and that was it.
And what do the fractions look like? Are they running fast? Or
they're running fast. Yeah, they were at one point in the race. They had them clocked at 42 miles an hour. That's quick.
They're almost as fast as me. Or Chicago.
I don't see these horses going quite that fast, but you never know, right?
Never can tell.
Yeah, with them, would take number 15. 2 Tribes is my top choice. As draw 4. Started the season with a 2nd at Newmarket. Royal Ascot was a bust, and then subsequent efforts of 4th and a 5th. He is a 3-year-old, so he gets in very light on the weights, and so I'm taking the draw, the weight, and I think he's got good form, and I think he'll get paid nicely if he can hit the win.
Mm-hmm.
5 Cover Up is going to be my next choice. He's going to draw 5. He didn't really start very well in his last race, which is an understatement because he decided to go right rather than go straight. And with that, he still ran 5th in the race and improved. Really, it was a nice effort. I mean, and he improved over his last efforts. So he started the season on the all-weather and lower class levels, and he won a bunch being 2 races. I think, and he won in the 2023 and was a win too. So I'm going to throw him in the money off that last race. And my final one is going to be number 9, Dare to Hope, which is always a good name for a horse player to play. Draw 3. He won at Ripon last time out, and he was the favorite, and definitely his best effort of the season, of course. And to get a little class relief going to Ripon. It's obviously going to move back up a little bit in here with this group. But was that a confidence builder? Could be. I got to put him in the money because of that. Unlike some of these other horses in this race, he's coming off a win.
So we have 18, 19 horses in this race. You make 3 picks. I make 4 picks. That equals 7 picks. I don't think we agree on anything in this race, Tom, and be curious to see to what degree the predictor agrees with us.
Probably won't agree with any of us either.
Yeah. Probably not. I have a weakness for Billy Joe. I think in the last 2 races, I went ahead and picked this one. So what the hell? I'll make it the 3rd one. Reminds me of when Sean used to pick White Abario all the time. And then the first time he didn't pick White Abario, the horse won. So I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm going to stick with Billy Joel until he sings me a song from the Winner's Enclosure. And then number 2, Apollo 1 is my second choice in there. Post 10, horse number 2. Third up, last time out, the horse really finished with a strong run. And I'm expecting that momentum to continue through today. Reinforce the 18 horse, Tom. That's next for me. Sounds like a name that you almost picked there, but it's not. 50-1. We'll take that one right there. That one looks like it's in good form right now, Tom, and firing. So if it can get a 2nd or 3rd place, or heck, even a win for me at 50-1, I'd certainly celebrate. And then, except for race number 4, I finished all of my picks with number 6. Number 6, Ballymount Boy finds that position again today. And as I look through the form, I like to look for cycles, and I noticed this horse would run, go to the bench, run, go to the bench, run, go to the bench. There's one exception in there where the horse ran, came off the bench, didn't really run a sharp race. Did make it a 2nd start, and that race was better than anything else the horse put together on the past performances, and then went back to that form, race, go to the barn, race, go to the barn. Well, this time it raced and didn't go back to the barn. So I'm hoping it can rewind to where the other cycle, where it did make 2 races in a row and surprise. Hopefully, the predictor agrees with me, at least 1 horse, Tom.
Well, let's see.
Boom. I don't think either one of us have Summer Gang.
No, we do not. The old guy.
Al Bashir.
He's the 10-year-old in this race.
Yeah, well, that's a little old. Al Bashir, I think that's
all
one.
Three of mine are here.
Yeah, none of mine are in here, are they? None.
Nope.
It can be a long race 5 for me, the Constantine Handicap. Yes.
Yeah, but it's only 6 furlongs.
Yeah, so it'd only be about 1 minute and 9 seconds of misery for me. After that,
probably minute 11, minute 12.
After that, I can go about horse racing.
Go wild and crazy.
Jamie Barno says they will still come up for the far rail of the track for tomorrow racing. Thank you for the insights there. He likes should have been naring for me form at the track, and that's one that you have too, right, Tom?
I do like that horse. Yes.
We appreciate the comments and the
we do.
We appreciate you sharing our content too. So if you like what you saw, you can follow us on our social sites down there below. Thumbs up on YouTube, as well as likes and all of the other interactivity on Facebook, Instagram, X, or Twitter, whatever you call it, TikTok, Threads, any of those social sites where you communicate with your friends and other horse racing degenerates. Kindly share our content. We greatly appreciate that. Of course, Tom, on Monday, I'll be back with Terry. As always, we'll do Parks. And then Tuesday, we'll do Parks. And then Wednesday, we'll do Saratoga. And Thursday, we'll do Saratoga. No Wednesday, Saratoga?
Oh, you won't.
Why not? Saratoga's done?
No, Saratoga's not done. But there's another track that's very similar to European racing that'll be beginning on Thursday.
So we'll do some Kentucky Downs in there.
You're going to be doing Kentucky Downs, I hope.
Well, we'll do some Kentucky Downs in there. But
there'll be some good prices.
Oh, yes, always bomb. Let's go lower down there. And then, of course.
Guess where we're going on next week?
Well, Thomas is going to be there, right?
No, I will not be there the first weekend. I'll be there the second weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah, because usually I ask you where we're going for this show, but where are we going for next week?
We're going to go to Kentucky Downs.
All right, so we'll do a little American European racing.
For sure. And try to do the whole card if we really get ambitious. They'll be
for Saturday.
There's 7 days of racing, and the purse money this year is $35 million.
So they finally got Terry to cough up a few bucks, huh? Sounds good. I look forward to that. We'll do the whole card for Saturday, next Friday. So just mark that on the board. Yes. So
I'll be looking carefully at the Kentucky Downs racing for Thursday. That's for sure. See see what magic, crazy winners will come out of those races. And I saw a master of European racing who's now makes his home here is going to be riding there.
Who's that?
Frankie Dettori.
So that'll be fun too. See how he performs there.
See what kind of mounts he gets, and he definitely knows how to ride uphill.
Yes. See if he can do better than Irad did over there.
Yeah. Well, Irad is not okay at Kentucky Downs, but he's not knocked the doors down.
No, not like he does over at Naira. So we'll do Kentucky Downs next week, Tom and I, and then the following weekend, if you're at Kentucky Downs, a good chance you might see the one or two of us there. So make sure you look out for the both of us. If you do, just come by and say hi. Don't hit us. Don't be too mad at us. And if we hit you a couple of winners,
you can be mad at us, but we'll do our best. If nothing else, we'll tell you the horses not to play.
You can always look at the bright side of things for sure. So
absolutely.
All right. So make sure and Monday, by the way, at Parks, I think there's 4 or 5 stakes races. So it's a pretty good Parks card for Monday. Make sure you tune in for that.
Pennsylvania Breds, isn't it?
Yeah. But a lot of $100,000 rakes. So good stuff. Like so the top, the cream of the crop for there.
That's a cheap maiden race at Saratoga.
Yeah, I never liked the track risers from like Parks up to Naira. Yeah. They always grade out well. Like if you just go through the math and you black box it, right, run it through a quantitative system, those horses are going to score high, but those scores never carry up I-95. But they do carry if you come down I-95 from Naira down into Parks. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Parks racing or Naira racing. You see those horses go from Delaware or from Charlestown or from Laurel, and they make their way into a Naira track. Downgrade their performances a little bit. And if you see a horse coming down from Aqueduct or from Saratoga, making its way down to Laurel or to Parks or to Charlestown, I mean, if they show up at Charlestown, you might as well put them in the winner's circle at 1-9. They might leave the gate at 1-1, but by the time they run a half mile, it'll be 1-9.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, any final thoughts from you regarding York or any Kentucky Downs thoughts?
Final day. It's been a nice run. And was really impressed by City of Troy and the judgment. We'll see where he ends up next. Breeders' Cup is certainly going to be on the radar.
Well, we certainly hope we know
where is he going to run. And I think he's going to be in the Classic.
Going to be in the Classic?
Yeah, I think so. I think Aiden, that's one race that's eluded Aiden. I think he's got a horse by Justify who looks like he can run on anything.
So he's going to go collect that trophy and put it up on the mantle then. So we certainly hope, no matter what trophy it is you're trying to collect and put onto your mantle, that you got God's grace, God's favor, and that every single thing you do until we get back together again for Parks, Saratoga, and Kentucky Downs ends up in
the winner's enclosure.
Indeed. Make it a fantastic weekend, folks. Looking forward to Monday.